Welcome 5th through 6th grade. We're going to have a nice short video today. We're going to have a series of lessons over the next few weeks that build up to creating an entire essay. And if you've done this before, I still want you to follow along because I am hopefully going to teach you some things that you don't know. And if you have never heard of this, I'm going to break it down for you very simply so that this will be something you're very comfortable with. But the essay, the definition of an essay is a group of paragraphs, but they all work together to make one point, one argument. There is one main point or idea, and we call this the thesis. And I'm going to write the thesis in the very bottom of the box that says introduction, because that's where it's going to go in your essay. So in your essay, each of these boxes represents a paragraph. And the average length of an essay is 5 paragraphs. So when you're writing these paragraphs, we start with this first paragraph, which is the introduction paragraph. It's bigger than the following 3 because we generally start off with a wide argument or a wide sentence that kind of pulls us in to the topic. And it slowly narrows it down until the last sentence of the first paragraph is where we make our point. And that is what we call a thesis. This thesis is very much like the topic sentence we have talked about in earlier in the semester, because the subject of your thesis needs to be the subject of your paper. And the verb needs to be a strong verb that tells me how to think about the subject. No be verbs. No neutral verbs. It needs to be a strong verb that tells me how to think about this topic. And then the rest of the sentence can either provide further explanation, but we don't want to give away our paper in the rest of the sentence. I've heard some teachers explain that you want to list off all of your points here, but let's not do that. Let's save it for the paper. So the example I always love to give is talking about video games. So if we're writing an introductory paragraph, we might start off generally by talking about video game statistics. Maybe how many kids in the U.S. play video games or how much time they spend playing video games. And I might talk about that in my paragraph because I do want to introduce the topic of video games up here. But then when I get to my thesis, the subject of my thesis needs to be video games. And then my verb is going to be benefits. And then the rest of the sentence is just going to say the player in many ways. In many ways. But that is going to go right here. That is my thesis is going to be the last sentence of my introductory paragraph. So we're going to talk about the other paragraphs in the following weeks. But this week, we are only talking about the introductory paragraph. Now, you are going to be writing a 5-paragraph essay in the next several weeks. So if you want to use the brainstorm that you did the last couple weeks, and you want to use that as your topic, or if you don't know of a good topic, you can use my suggestion here, the benefits, the perks of homeschooling. And I want you to pick a topic and write a sample introduction paragraph and a sample thesis. So go ahead, and if you don't have a topic, then use the skills you know so far, brainstorm, gather some information, and then take time to do this. Or if you, like I said, if you'd like an easier assignment, just use the one I gave you last week, the benefits of homeschooling, or you could use video games. And you can choose your own perspective on it. So for your homework, we're going to have 2 parts. You're going to draw and label the 5-paragraph essay model. Make it look just like the one I have right before this page. And then you're going to write a sample introductory paragraph with the last sentence as your thesis. Now, I would like to provide an example for this, but I don't want it to be copied because I want this to be original with you. So go ahead and start on that this week, and then next week we'll start in on the body paragraphs, and then eventually we'll get to the conclusion. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next week.